impacting the world, doing, going, being, getting things done. So many times we think that getting big things done accomplishes big, great things. Yes, it does accomplish. But is it true that small deeds don't accomplish much? In comparison to the big deeds, the small deeds are insignificant, it may seem. I remember when I needed letters of recommendation for a certain endeavor I was having. I asked a number of people, and I had, thank God, a lot of recommendations. But one of the people who had agreed to give me a recommendation to write one up, she told me, please remind me in the evening. I want to make sure I write you one. Now, this person is busier than busy, doing big things, small things, taking care of family. I know she's a busy person. But she told me to remind her because she wanted to make sure to write me one. I still remember this. This happened years ago. And the impact that she left on me was so positive, so pleasant. It made me feel that not only did she want to do it, but she wanted to make me feel that my request was not forgotten about. That it meant so much to her as well, even though it was, a busy time in her life at that point when I was asking her. So it made a big impression on me. Did it cost her anything? No. Did it take a lot of time? No. But it definitely left a big impression on me till this day. So we may ask ourselves, what is the impact of small deeds? Are small deeds as important as big deeds? And what's the difference? In Pirkei Avot, it is stated, be as careful with a light mitzvah as with a heavy one, because you do not know the relative rewards of a mitzvah. A mitzvah, we know, is a commandment. We do not know the value of a small mitzvah, something that was easy to do, did not involve a lot of effort, versus a heavy one, a heavy investment of your time and your energy. We do not know the value. Its reward may be nothing less than a major breakthrough in someone's life. Just like the small deed that this person did to me, right? She promised to write me, and please remind me. It made me feel so good. It made me feel important, essential. It made my request necessary, as important to her as it was to me. It made me feel good. So she left a big impression on me. And it definitely was a positive feeling. So we don't really know the relative value of a mitzvah. There was a story which was told by Rabbi Pesach Krohn in a lecture. And he said the following story about a principal who was set on expelling a student from a yeshiva. Now, the student misbehaved, and as the principal was about to expel him and give him consequences, the yeshiva student approached the principal and said, "You can expel me if you would like. Realize, however, that in doing so, you are not only expelling me, you are expelling my children and my children's children as well." The principal relented and allowed the student to remain in school. And that's a beautiful story, because it's telling us that every single thing that we do, it has a consequence. It has a ripple effect. It affects somebody somehow. Every small action. This is a very valid point. The young man said to the principal that to deprive him of a Torah education is to deprive a future generations of education as well. But people are going to talk, oh, this one got expelled. Don't marry him. Don't marry into the family. They're mischievous. They're troublemakers. So to provide him with a Torah education, on the other hand, is to provide a Torah education for generations to follow. So one action would have an enormous effect. Okay. The Midrash says about Moshe Rabbeinu, when the Jewish people were enslaved in Egypt, the Torah relates, Moses saw an Egyptian man beating a Hebrew man, and he looked here and there and saw that no man was present, and he slew the Egyptian and buried him in the sand. I'm going to read it one more time. Moses saw an Egyptian man beating a Hebrew man, and he looked here and there and saw that no man was present, and he slew the Egyptian and buried him in the sand. The Midrash tells us he looked here and there. He looked with prophecy here and there. He looked into the future. A prophet is a prophet when he applies himself. He naturally doesn't see the future, the consequences, the past, the present. He needs to apply himself, and Hashem gives him that gift, and prophetesses. He looked to see if in the future generations any man was present, meaning if any offspring or children of merit would be born from that Egyptian, if any children of merit would come out of that Egyptian. Only after he was certain that no good people would be among his descendants did he go ahead and slay the aggressor, slay the Egyptian. We need to understand that our actions have an effect. When we do and say something to people, they remember. Even though they do forgive, it's hard to forget. It's very hard to forget. It takes a really big person to forget. And it's not humanly possible to completely forget and completely forgive, because we do have feelings. We do have emotions. Yes, we're willing to make a new start. We're willing to move on. We're willing to forgive. We're willing to put ourselves in their shoes and say, listen, I understand that you did this, you weren't thinking. Or I forgive you, I want to have a good relationship. Because you see into the future that having strife and tension between both of you, it will not help the relationship. It will have tension and strife in the family for generations to follow. Right? Somebody said something 20, 30 years ago, did something 20, 30 years ago. People still remember and have tension and have negative feelings to people who they're even related to. They don't even know them, but they're related to them. They don't like them. So we have to know that when we act a certain way, people have an impression on us, right? It's our job not to have a negative impression on people. But we don't control others, right? And we have to be careful of ourselves that we don't present negative vibes to other people that they will remember. Actions. An action could be much more negative than we think it is. And Moses feared his action might be. He feared, maybe I'm doing something wrong. Maybe I shouldn't kill him. So he thought about it. He thought about the present, the future, the past, and he said, you know what? That's a good decision. On the other hand, an action could be much more positive than we imagine it to be. We must, in effect, look into the future before acting and considering far-reaching effects of our deeds. The impact of what appears to be a minor mitzvah may be far greater than we imagine. Many people are under a mistaken impression. They feel that people's lives are mostly affected by dramatic turning points, by big, bold events that change the course of people's lives. For the most part, this is false. Many of the milestones of life are small, seemingly insignificant events, and that finally make their mark. Most of life are small events that are put together, right? Somebody recommends someone. Oh, they're always greeting me with a smile. They're always happy to help. They're always so pleasant. They're always so cheerful. They're happy to see me. This doesn't cost anything. This doesn't take a lot of time. It's not a huge investment, but it can make a big impression on people. And that could actually define, listen, you were there for me since when I was a kid. I'm there for you always. right? These are impressions that we have on people, and we want to have positive impressions. In Imre Sefer by Rabbi Shmuel Pinchasi, it is noted, physically, the human body is composed of many, many, many tiny cells. By the same token, spiritually, we are what we are because of the tiny, tiny milestones which together make us the people that we are. So physically and spiritually, we are shaped by the tiny milestones, by the tiny cells in our bodies, so that we can be the people we are. Your small actions can mean the world to someone, and your small actions can destroy someone. God forbid. People remember what someone said, a negative statement, many, many years later, and it still hurts them. Yes, this was something they need to learn about themselves. This is a message Hashem is sending them through this person. Because people don't really do anything. Hashem is really the one who's sending them messages through this person. So it's not worth it to be angry at people. We need to work on it. And I know it's hard. I know it's a process. As long as you're trying and you're wanting and you're praying for it, you're going to get help from Hashem to recover from this negative state. So a positive thing that you can do to someone, you're probably not even thinking about it, right? When the the mail carrier comes and brings you the mail, would you like a drink? The person's probably not going to want a drink. And you're probably just opening the door anyway just to get the mail. You're not spending any extra effort on any part. But you made an impression. That person feels like they matter, right? Another example is the cashier. You're not on the phone when you're checking things out at the store. You're not on the phone. The person is there. Make them feel good. Make small talk. How's the weather? I like your earrings, right? Something small. You're making them feel important. You're making them feel that their job is valuable. Their job is important. And this is sending them the message that you're a person and you matter. Not my phone matters. Not things matter. When we approach people, we need to be be a people person. Because people feel like they're nothing. They're not important. And they are important. It doesn't take much on our part, right? Another thing you can do is just to call someone just to say hello. Hi, how's the family? Just checking in on you. How's everyone? You could give something to someone that you don't even need anymore, that you were about to throw out. Hey, I was thinking about you. I was thinking you were going to need this stuff. I wanted to give it to you. You're going to throw it out anyway. So it doesn't take so much out of you. You make some extra food when you're cooking anyway and give it to someone who's, who's going on, a lot's going on in their life and they're feeling overwhelmed. And you make a meal, a little bit extra, right? Just to make the person feel that somebody's thinking about them. Call an elderly person or a widow just to tell them Shabbat Shalom or Happy Holidays or have a great weekend. It makes them feel that they're remembered. Nobody really needs them. And they feel like they're not needed. They're useless in this world. But yet they're here for a reason. Didn't cost you much. Didn't take a lot of time. But you just made somebody's life. Just made it all worth it. And another quick idea is to thank a parent or a child or someone you live with for something that they do all the time. Maybe they always take out the garbage, or they always vacuum. They always put the jackets away or the shoes away, or they always do buy milk when you need it, or they always help you out at home in some way. Rake the leaves outside. They're doing it anyway, right? Sort the recycles. But you're thanking them. You're thanking them. You're acknowledging them. If someone would thank you for something you're doing anyway, you would do it with so much more meaning, with so much more happiness. You would do it with a smile on your face. So it starts with you. Thank someone today. Thank someone every day for something that they're doing anyway. And may we remember that small deeds are just as important as big deeds, right? When someone is raising money for a campaign, millions of dollars, thousands of dollars, versus a child who's raising money in order to get prizes from school. All they need to do is raise $50, $100. and you tell that child, make sure you come to me today. I can't wait to give you some money so you can raise money for your school. And you give them a $5 bill. You give them a $2 bill. The fact that you called them, the fact that you reminded them that it's important to you just like it's important to them, you just made their world. You made their world. They matter. And this child will carry this along with them. So may we remember that small deeds and big deeds, we don't know the value of each of them. We don't know the value. Big deeds are not more valuable than small deeds, and vice versa. May we do whatever we do with meaning and a full heart. Appreciating the insights of Rabbi Michael Haber in the book Don't Look Down. Leah Abramov, Being and Becoming. Awakening awareness of your greatness and potential.